on that fateful day last week, you were very instrumental in getting all your members into the House. 236 of them, minus, of course, Jim Dachikwe is a subject for another day. Why did you do that when it was obvious from on the face of it, when the majority had told you they won't participate in this, you were bound to lose, and you had to expend a lot of energy to get your members in the House?
Well, I mean, Evans, sometimes you keep to your principle. You remember the very day we filed our motion, and the next day when they did the press conference saying that they were calling for him to get out, our response was that we hope they were going to keep to their word. So sometimes you do this just to keep to your word. And believe me, as at the morning of the Thursday, there was still a lot of confusion on the other side. To stay, not to stay, the rebels to join us or not to join us. So we needed to play our cards and provide our equity. And our equity is to make sure that every one of us was there. Whilst the confusion was there, because all we needed was just about 46 more members from the other side. And we knew that they were well over 80. So whilst the confusion rages on their side, and they were struggling whether to be in there, not to be in, we had to do our part. And the night before, I mean, talking in confidence to many of them who were part of the rebel, some of them were still saying that, look, we are with you. We will still be there with you. And for me and our team as a whip, we couldn't have just said that, oh, because we weren't sure with all what they were saying, let's be relaxed and let's assume that Thursday they stayed, and let's say our side was only 100. All the blame will come to us. Because then they said that, the rebels got divided. About 48 of them or 50 of them were there. But unfortunately, if the minority were all there, it would have been a kill. So we needed to make sure that every one of us was there. And I can tell you, like you said, I mean, the amount of energy after the whole thing happened, you realize I couldn't even have the energy to speak to anybody because it was so devastating. I knew.
But you knew this was happening?
No, I mean, it was a 50-50. You knew they were not very certain. Unfortunately, the rebels were not in leadership. They were just some few middle benchers and back benchers. So you couldn't even, the courage is not really there. Some of them were just brazen it. So it's like, at every point in time, you could not tell definitely what they would do.
But what signals did they give you, though?
The signal was that they were with us.
Even up until when?
Up to Thursday night. Up to Thursday morning.
Up to Thursday morning?
Up to Thursday morning. And I can tell you, I mean, without mentioning names, later they were calling us and said, oh, can you just leave the voting alone to 21st?
So they wanted you to move the vote of censure
to do all the debate.
That's the final day.
The final day, the Thursday. But can you just leave the voting to 21st? We were assured that by appropriation he will be removed. If he's not removed, then we'll come with the vote. I said, if all along we've been working together, you've given us all the assurance, we keep changing the goalposts. And today the motion is on. Even as of last night, you were telling that you weren't certain. I mean, some of your members are saying you should stay, you should walk. But you, the rebels, I mean, are really willing to brace it. And at worst, half of you could be there. Now, if you are now telling us that we should shift the vote to 21st, what guarantee do we have that 21st you still Hannah? Because it wasn't an easy thing. Because I can bet you, I had a member in Croatia. The Wednesday, I had
unofficial assignment?
Yeah, no, that was private.
Private, okay.
There were 2 unofficial assignments in Djibouti. There was 2 in the U.S. unofficial assignment. There was 1 in Sierra Leone unofficial assignment. I mean, I can tell you that about 20 of my members were very far away, and we have to ferry each and every one of them to make sure that
at your cost or their cost, because they have to abandon what they're doing.
Yeah, they have to abandon what they are doing
and bring and
transfer
themselves.
You can never get a whip to tell you about cost. You just get things done. As to how you get.
So how you get here, it's not your problem, but get here.
You just have to get there. So to have money to get everybody, including Question, was sitting in the office. And to just tell you the extent to which we pushed so hard.
So what changed then between the Thursday morning and the actual vote on the floor?
I mean, that would be very interesting, and I really wish you could get the rebels, some of them, to ask them this question, because it was at the point in time, by lunchtime, then we started getting disappointed, because they started making calls and trying to say, oh, can we rather do it this way? Can we rather do it that way? I said, what is this? The motion is almost getting over. I mean, we allowed just some 2 or 3 more speakers to speak, and you are still talking about, can we rather leave the voting? How are we going to do that? To tell Speaker that, okay, we'll conclude the debate, but Mr. Speaker, we are not interested in taking the voting now. Can we suspend the voting to 21st? That would be another tall order. Because, believe me, it wasn't so easy to get even the motion called. There were a lot of struggle to prevent. I can tell you that part of their strategy they thought was that, oh, if you send the thing to committee, then you go and mute it there, and then even the committee finishes, the report could be muted and all that. But we fought all that and made sure that none happened. So if you are on the D-Day and you are still asking for a time, at the point in time, I got furious. I told my leader that, look, leader, let's end it. Whichever way it goes, for us, we've kept our principal position. We have fought hard. I mean, as a Democrat, you don't fight to win all the fight. Sometimes you end it, you pick the lessons, and then you carry on. But obviously,
I'm sure you've heard, there's a view out there that suggests that this was all a choreographed charade with the majority and minority in collusion to save face. Let's do something to prove to the people that we're working in their interest. Meanwhile, you knew all along that the outcome was predetermined.
No, I mean, this is where the minority gets a lot of pain. I can bet you, each time this counts, we have a lot of pain. A lot of our members who make the tremendous sacrifices. I mean, the regional caucus leader, the rankings, I mean, the leadership, the sleepless night. When you hear this, it breaks your heart. Because you see, the sad thing is that if those of us in the minority group were given a number that could do all the things that we had to do, believe me, I mean, that when you then blame us, we'll take the blame. We have a number that is deficient. A number that constantly, for you to be able to achieve anything, you have to reach out to 1 or 2 on the other side. And Evans, people are courageous, but it is not going to be easy.